Shambulia bebasilaha Pigana pakamwishowe Quantie tututau utada.
Ladies and gentlemen, the true Emperor of Lassie.
Thank you all for the applause, despite me being late to the occasion. Ladies, gentlemen, and to all my Lassie warriors and concorders, some of you may know me, while the rest of you do not, but for all cases, I am Chito2500. Before I begin though, there is a special occasion that I would like to celebrate, even though that I'm maybe a month or two late into the party. That's right, Lassie's 15-year anniversary. We're practically old enough to be a generation, so this is a special occasion to them. And for me though, I would like to thank them from the bottom of my heart for all the hard work, whether how big or small, that they have contributed to the clan throughout all the years of service. Now, this special occasion also goes out to the allies of Lassie, who without them have never made Lassie what it is today. A prosperous, successful clan that has stood the test of time. But recently though, we have been going through some inactivities most of late though, and this is affecting me as well. So I shall give you the primary reason why Lassie has been this way. It's simply because we've all grown up. All the people that used to be in Lassie either moved on to reality stuff, such as marriage, work, or basically out of town or out of state, who knows. As for me though, I've reached adulthood as well, and I do not have the time that I used to have during my younger days. So, that's why I'm here, to make up for it, and to make up for all the stuff that I have, lost during the time. And I don't know if that makes sense or not, because let's just say that I've been a little rusty over the past few months or so, and I'm not the type of strong person that I used to be. That's what age does to you in a bit, but I heard that you can still get it back, so I still have time, right? But anyways, enough about that. To celebrate this momentous occasion, right, with Lassie being a generation old and all, I think it's time I finally tell you the real reason why I started Lassie. In fact, it all goes back to my very, very younger days of being a clan member, to be exact. So, in truth, Chito2500 was not the first name that I have gotten, okay? Even though technically Chito2500 is the name that I gave my own, there was another name that someone else had gave me, a family member to be specific, and that started my online journey of Xbox Live. Way long ago during the OG Xbox 360 days. In fact, I started my online journey with Halo 3. Yeah, Halo 3 out of all places. And my first username at the time was Chito_Halo_F. And yes, this was around the time where the internet was a lot slower than it was. Not like it is now, so, So Chito_Halo_F was my first online persona that the family member gave to me, and yeah, let's just say that the first few times on Xbox Live were tough at first, but eventually I learned, I grew, learned some tricks and strategies, and yeah, I became the kick-ass person over the time. So how did I join my first clan? So this clan actually saw me during one of my matchmaking games and took an interest in me. And out of all the clans that most of you might expect me in, right, that know me too well, the first clan that I actually took part in, even though I had no knowledge of clans in the past, was a UNSC-inspired clan. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, your boy here was a UNSC soldier. Well, fictionally, of course, right? And they took me through all sorts of tests, right? But before I get into that though, I remember this clan so well that I even remember the name and the two leaders that led it. The clan's name was the UNSC Red Devils, led by gamertags Drury and Dark Sonic 2000. I have no idea how I remember these names, but I guess the first time, it was always the time that you will cherish, right? So I even remember the map that they took me in. It was Sandtrap in Halo 3. And to put it in simple terms, imagine a desert with ruins smacked in the middle of it though. And for those of you who are familiar with Halo 3's terrain, there you go. So my test consists of jumping on the back of a Warhog Gauss cannon, right? And I had to shoot down as many fusion coils as I can while it was moving though. Even though there was no aim assist to assist with non-human objects, right? But I did manage to hit most of the targets. Might have missed 1, 2, perhaps 3. I'm not sure how many I missed, but it was enough to allow me entry into the UNSC Red Devils. And I served them for quite a bit. In fact though, it was around the time when Reach was just about to come out though, so I was in the clan for a few months in before, I started my own. So I was one of their top players, right? I was pretty good. Even in Reach days, I picked it up pretty quickly, right? Learned all the ways, learned the controls, and fine-tuned my control to the best of my ability. And yeah, I became one of their top dogs, that sort of thing, participated in meetings, and learned discipline and all that stuff. Everything went great for a while. Had a few wars here and there, and I did forget the names of the people that we went to war with, but that was a long time ago, so forgive me if I can't recall every single detail because, as always, this was over 15 years ago, But anyways, let's get back to it though. So everything was well until the first Lasso challenge came. And by Lasso, for those of you who don't know, is Legendary All Skulls On. That's the acronym for Lasso. And I remember this so well because it was on the mission Winter Contingency on Halo Reach, and this was during the OG Xbox 360 days, right? So I was unfamiliar with Lasso, right? I mean, I know about Legendary, but some of the skulls though made really life difficult. The enemies were ranked up, no radar, getting shields back just by punching the enemy, you know what I mean? We died, well, not physically speaking, fictionally speaking, sorry about that, a lot, And we only managed to get to the part where we had to fight the group of enemies before the Falcon takes us to the next area in the base, right? So for those of you who know about, yeah, that's about it. Unfortunately, though, we never got past that part, right? And I was tired and I needed to go to school at that time in the morning, right? I told my leader at the time, hey, can we just pick this up tomorrow or whatever? I really have to go. And unfortunately, though, I don't know who said it though, either Drury or Dark Sonic, but yeah, we were told to keep going despite that. And yeah, that was the first time that I thought to myself, is these what clans are supposed to be and everything? They shower you with praise at first, but then in the end they show their true colors. And after dying a few more times, in the mission, yeah, I decided to be I'm just gone and everything. And I don't know, he must have got mad or something. I don't know who, but yeah. And I just had enough. I just snapped, either from tiredness or from anger. But I said a few choice words, forgot again, and I told them, you know what, I'm gone. That's it, I'm done. So I departed from the UNSC Red Devils, and that's when my hatred for militarized clans was born. I was judgmental, against them. I thought all militarized clans were bad, they shower you with praise, like I said, then they show their true colors and all that stuff. I hated it though. And of course, this was a month before the Sea as a clan was born. Now, on October 21st, 2010, right, I was finishing building a base, right? It was just for fun, right? 3 of my friends, right, were visiting me at the time, and they asked me what I was building. And I told them I was building a base for my new clan. And just like that, though, those 3 youngins, right, decided, hey, let us be your first members. And that's when Lassie was born, right then and there. So the reason why I made Lassie in the first place was to give these youngins some hope, right? Because back in the day, right, there were kids with high voices called squeakers back in the day, right? And they were disregarded by their older peers because their voices were too high-pitched or something like that. For me, though, it was all about giving them a place to express themselves and to be safe from those tyrannical aggressors. Metaphorically speaking, of course. And yeah, it was a mess at first, and we figured it out, partially. I mean, I didn't have enough experience in a clan other than being a member to actually run my own clan. In fact, I had no leadership experience at all, and I thought I was way in over my head, right? It went super well. We had like 1 or 2 battles here and there, during my earlier videos. And yeah, I thought that we weren't going to last, right? Until I met this wonderful clan leader from back in the day. This wonderful clan leader changed my perspective on militarized clans, and I will admit, though, I was partly wrong about them. Not all militarized clans are assholes, evil, and all that stuff, and tyrannical dictators, though. Some of them are actually pretty cool and can be really, really gentle, you know? As a matter of fact, though, I remember this militarized clan so well, and his name, right? That this very militarized clan, right, was called the Dark Gods, led by EM Killer 66. So EM Killer, took me and my Lassie in, though, because we weren't doing so well at the time. And because of that, though, we became the first division of that UNSC, not the UNSC clan, though, but of that clan, right, to become the first division of elites. And yes, the name of Lassie at that time was known as the Pulse Lassie at that time. There was no such thing as the Sanctum back then. We were an all-elite clan back then. Which is why, some of you assume that I was just all elite back then, but in actuality, though, I began as a human, then transitioned to an elite, though, even though that sounds kind of wrong, but I'll continue. So, we did pretty well, okay? EM Killer taught me a lot of things, okay? That man right there was like literally my best friend. One of my best friends in the whole wide world. I hope that he's doing okay if you're watching this, Mr. Killer. So, yeah. So he taught me a lot of things. He taught me to lead. He taught me how to set up meetings, that sort of thing. He was like a mentor to me. As a matter of fact, though, he even offered me to give me the exclusive Blue Flame helmet, right, for my Spartan. And for my elite, of course, though. And I was skeptical at first, but gave him my old information, and then just like that, there it is. He gave it to me. Because I trusted that man and everything, okay, I formed a newly found trust with militarized leaders and all that stuff. And of course, though, I have come to realize that, hey, this is the guy that I can hang out with, right? I don't remember much about the Dark Gods' history then and there. Because it could be the fact that I don't have permission to reveal much about it. But all in all, though, let's just say that because of EM Killer's inspiration, to realize that humans and elites can work together, right? That's when I got the idea of adding the Sanctum Lassie to Pulse, which in turn, the Pulse and Sanctum Lassie, as you know today. And the rest, you may know that you could just read over to the news directory in my website, of course. And yeah, that is pretty much the hidden history of Lassie as it is. Surprise, surprise, your boy was once a human. But in reality, I am a human, but all jokes aside. So yeah, though, this is for all the Lassie that has been worked hard over the years and everything. And we've been through a lot together, Dealt with a few battles here and there, had to repel a certain individual who hunted us for the past 5 years, right? Well, 5 years of the clan's time, not the past recent years, you know what I mean? And of course, though, there was this one guy or individual that almost destroyed us for good, but managed to survive, thanks to my clever witness and all that stuff. But anyways, though, it's a mess. Let's just say that we're all a big mess for me. Now, I cannot say the same for the members, though, because each and every one of my members have the right to speak their own minds, and I cannot speak for them, right? But they can tell you about their time if you ask them, right? As a matter of fact, though, some of these members have been with me for years, okay? And I applaud them, right, for even sticking around with this long, even though there are no periods of inactivity. And yeah, I just can't thank them enough for their service and everything. And I really hope that they continue to serve Lassie, and its people, and to fight for the cause as well. I'm just very grateful for that, So yeah, I think that's about all that I can say in this matter and everything. I treat you to this wonderful speech and everything, and to this wonderful history of Lassie, even though Lassie has some ups and downs here and there, right? But of course, though, I did almost forget one thing. How did Lassie came to be in the first place, right? It was actually inspired by Square Enix's Final Fantasy XIII at the time, when I was really, really young, when it first came out, right? Now, even though the gameplay of that game was, well, controversial in a way, because, it's linear, that sort of thing, but it wasn't the gameplay that inspired me, though. It was actually the story itself, right? Basically, no matter what your fate the creators had in store for you and everything, it's up to you to decide if you want to let that fate control you or not. So when I was playing the game and everything, and then I saw the story unfold itself, that really hit home with me. You know what I mean? And I try to teach my Lassie the same thing, that no matter what life has in store for you and everything, no matter what happens, though, you control your own fate. Your life is yours to own, And I try to instill that in each and every one of the Lassie, plus the belief in the balance. You know what I mean? Now, just like every other clan out there, whether militarized or Sangheili or a third nation entirely, right? We won many battles, but at the same time, we've lost many battles. This just goes to show that we're not anything special, really, though. We're just a clan with unique and odd terms, But yet, those unique terms, right, and those odd terms is what separates us from the rest of the guys who, put similar things and tries to fit in with the crowd. But me, though, I don't like fitting in with the crowd, you know what I mean? I like to stand out, okay? Like, why should I, right, or if some of my people, if they agree with me, follow the same rules and principles that others have put in place, that others expect us to follow, And yes, because of that uniqueness and oddness, right, Lassie has lasted this long. And I'm very grateful to each and one of them, for helping make that happen. I will admit, though, at first they did find it weird and everything, but because they have so much respect for me and everything, that's just how it is. So, yeah. I would also like to extend this thanks to our allies as well, even though I did it before, though. It was our allies that taught us, and helped us in our dark times of need and everything. And, yeah. I just wish that the people that were in Lassie before who didn't have a good experience, let's just say that I miss them, I really miss those guys and gals. I wish there was something that I could do differently, but things happen and there's nothing I could do to change that. I have no regrets, honestly. Even though there was something that I could have prevented or done, and they have the right to blame me all they want, okay? I'll accept full blame if I must. But no matter what happens, okay, what matters now is the people that I have now. You know what I mean? And of course, the people that I will have in the future. What's in the past, it's done. And that includes my enemies as well. I've put up with you, enemies, and this is for you guys, and this is for you, enemies of Lassie. I've put up with you for a while now, in every shape or form, whether you revive Psycom, the arch enemies of Lassie, or just hate us for no damn reason, we did put up with you. And of course, though, the way that one or two of you tried to manipulate us into doing what you say, that ain't cool either, okay? Now, I will admit, though, we didn't win every single battle against you and everything. We did lose a few here and there from you, okay? And to me, though, I learned more from those defeats than my victories combined, okay? Because that reminds me that we need to be even stronger out there if we are to survive in this cruel world of Halo or any other game that we play. And to me, though, that tells me that I've got a lot of work to do still. I've always got a lot of work, and I'm always learning. Same thing with my people, too, of course, though. They also have things to learn and things to work on, you know? Everybody does. Nobody's perfect. But yeah, all in all, this is Chito2500's. Thank you all so much for tuning in, though. I know this has been extended and long and pretty much all over the place. I mean, if you're speaking without a script in front of you and everything, this is just purely from the heart, okay? I'm saying whatever comes to mind from the bottom here, you know? And yeah, all I have to say to that is, you know, I appreciate everything that you do. Hopefully we can get some clan activity started in the future. I am doing my best to improve my own life. And for those of you out there who served Lassie and grown up and moved on, though, I wish you all the very best, okay? And you know what, though? Hopefully I can say hi to you one day. Hopefully I can come up to you guys and say, you did it. You know what I mean? You made it work. But for those of you out here who haven't heard of us yet and are now, though, Lassie is open to recruitment, you know? We're actually looking for a new generation to come fill in the shoes of our ancestors, right? And to be the next generation of Lassie. You know what I mean? Because one day, I'm not going to be around anymore. But until that time, though, as for my decision of retirement, I will still be here, okay? And the reason why is because I was inspired recently, right? And yet, even golden oldies like grandmas and grandpas can be gamers. And if they can still kick ass at their age, why can't I, okay? Who says that I have to end this at my age? I'm still young. I still got plenty of life left in me. So, from now on, though, I will keep Lassie going for as long as I can. I don't care how long it takes. I want Lassie to succeed one of these days and to evolve into something greater. And I can't do this alone, okay? I will need all of your help to make this possible. I want Lassie to be a community one of these days, a safe haven for people who are trying to escape from their aggressors. And speaking of that, right? We will help you, whoever you are out there. If you need help, shelter, or basically some advice or a family to belong to, we Lassie can provide that for you, okay? And if you want to join Lassie and to protect our cause and fight for it, though, our arms are open for you. And with that, I'm Chito2500. As I said before, thank you all so much for tuning in and for listening. Hope you have a great day. Happy holidays. And Lassie, happy belated 15-year anniversary.